What's up, everyone? What's up, guys? Welcome to the new day. It's been another day since I think it's been up to 2 weeks right now since our last stream, and I haven't been able to do anything since then. And this week has been kind of busy with Flutter releases and so many other stuff. I don't know if most of you know about the Flutter Forward that happened in Africa. So they hosted a Flutter event to announce the 3.7 release of Flutter. That was, I think, yeah, that was yesterday because I watched it live. Yeah. So many things were actually said and shown on the event. A lot of stuff have been happening in Flutter, and there have been so many updates, and we'll be going through the updates here with me. So let's go through this. Most of the updates they are currently that's currently out there in 3.7, and if you haven't upgraded to 3.7, I will show you guys how to actually upgrade to 3.7. And also you should know that there are some breaking changes that you actually come across if you upgrade to 3.7. For me, I was using 3.0, Flutter 3.0, and when I upgraded to 3.7, most of my old code actually crashed. Yeah, some of the stuff there were not actually supported anymore. I just needed to change most of the code, try rewrite most of the stuff. And if you want to upgrade, the easiest way to just upgrade, just open your terminal and just type in Flutter upgrade. Yeah, that's Flutter upgrade, and that will just upgrade your Flutter, and then hit the enter key. It will just upgrade your Flutter repository that you currently have in your system. In some cases, you actually have an issue where it will actually tell you that if you try to upgrade, it will basically delete your unstashed git for Flutter. The only way to actually escape that is to use --force for the upgrade. So --force will force Flutter to upgrade without those error messages and those kind of stuff. Yeah, and that's it. That's how to upgrade to latest Flutter version, which is 3.7. And let's go through the process over. So what I have here is actually the project I currently have is Flutter 3.7 project, and I actually named it 3.7. I don't know if you guys can actually see the name. Yeah, at the top over here I called it 3.7. Yeah, it's the code base. It's still the same with the normal Flutter code base. Nothing changed. Still the same dummy code, and we're going ahead and run it on our simulator that we have right here. Not this. Come on. Yeah, so I'm gonna run it on this simulator so I can actually test it out and see what it looks like. So that should be command. Okay, command and shift. Then you have this pop up. Then just select the first stuff there, and next will be okay. We are trying to run 13 Pro. Yeah, so iPhone 13 Pro. So just select that, and then run the code. So at times it takes few seconds to start up. I think latex or maximum should be around 1 minute or 2 minutes to actually be able to start up. Yeah, that's it. It didn't take up to 2 minutes or a minute to start up, but here we have our code. I can actually see here it's still the same Flutter dummy page, nothing changed. You won't notice anything at the moment until you start actually adding some stuff. And we also have to we have to go through the changes that they did here, most of the stuff, and we are going to try it out. And for a bonus, we are going to also build some app with it with Material 3. And for most of you guys, yeah, they also introduced Material 3 widgets. So we are also going to try and use Material 3 widget to build some stuff. I'm looking at we're going to build some email app for sending emails, and it's going to have all these tests. And the reason why I choose this because I want us to actually implement the text magnifier. So you can actually see the context menu updates and also the text magnifier updates, which should be somewhere around here, this side. So it's called text magnifier. So that's the reason I choose this email app, because we're going to be implementing those new features and see what it looks like while working with tests and all those stuff. So yeah, and yeah, before we do that, so let's kind of like go through the update the Flutter team has. And if you are joining me, so let me know on the comments on the chat section what you guys think is the best feature in the 3.7 Flutter 3.7 release. What do you guys think is the best feature for you guys? Yeah, so I just sent some add some message on the chat. So let me know what you guys think is the best feature that's been on the 3.7 release so from Flutter. And yeah, let's go through these release notes that we have here. So it says tagline material 3 update, iOS improvement, and much more. So we are excited to start 2023 with the release of Flutter 3.7. In Flutter 3.7, we as a community continue to improve the framework with the addition of some great new features, such as the ability to create custom menu bars, cascading menus, so which I will be actually working on today. So we'll be working on this and also the text magnifier and stuff like that. So that will be our main focus for today. But let's continue. Tools to better support internationalization, new debugging tools, and much more. We also continue to refine features such as global selection, faster rendering with impeller, dev tools, and as always performance. Also, there's also a performance increase update too. Yeah, we start. So first of all, enhanced material 3 support. So material 3 support has been greatly enhanced in 3.7 with the migration of the following widgets. So all these widgets have been actually been migrated to material 3.7, and we can actually test it out and see what that looks like. So we have the badge widgets, we have the button bar, field and field toner buttons, segmented button, checkbox, divider, menus, drop down menu. Also there's a drop down menu, migration drawer, navigation drawer 2, progress indicator, radio button, slider, snack bar, tab bar, test fields, and then we have the input decorators. Basically I'll actually try to see what changes they did here for the material 3 for material 3. Yeah, and next we also have banners. And okay, what do you have here? To use this new feature, just turn on use material 3, flag in your application team data widget, and which we are going to do right away. So if you take a look at what we have right here, this still the old material 2. Yeah, you can actually call it material 2. Yeah, so this is the appearance of material 2. There's no difference, but we are expecting to actually see material 3 because I said we'll be using more of material 3 in this stream. So let's actually see that. So how do you add material 3 support? So like they said, we just need to go over to our team data. Here's our team data under our material app, and right under there, so I commented this out. So just say use material 3 and then set that to true, and then save. Once you save it, you can actually see our page is now changed to use material 3 widgets and UI improvement and some other stuff like that. So, and also always try to remove this annoying stuff here. To remove that, I'm going to use debug. Let's check debug. Okay. I'm also already forgotten what it's been called. I think mode. Nope, not mode. Banner. Okay, it looks like I'm doing it the wrong way. Yeah, debug shake mode. So just turn this to false, and you just remove this red line at the top. I was actually trying to call that look for this parameter inside the team data, which is the wrong place to actually get that to work. It should be inside material app widget itself. So once you save this, you can actually see that this is being removed from our app, which is nice. You can actually see the look of the app so far is good. The material 3 look, the whole thing is actually great. And let's see, so let's continue with the announcement here. So yeah, we enabled material 3 this way, and also let's try the color scheme stuff. So color scheme seed, and see what that looks like. So right in, yes, I still inside team data. We're just gonna change this. I'm gonna say color scheme. No, color scheme seed. And also let's see what this does. Creates the team data that I use to configure a team. Okay, so I'm gonna set this to color dot green. Save that. Okay, looks like I got it the wrong way, so that should be colors. Okay, color scheme seed. So why did I actually throw an error? Still the same code, nothing changed. Yeah, same stuff. Okay, one primary swatch. Okay, I see. So this has to be off for it to work. You can enable this and enable this at the same time. So that's what that actually the error that's is been saying. So you can't have both of this at the same time. One has to be out and the other one has to be enabled. So that's why it wasn't working. So right now we got it to work. Next we can actually try different color scheme seed. So let's try blue. See what that is going to look like, the theme for that. Okay, that's actually good. So basically what it does is it feed it a color, and it's going to generate both different color variants, color tones and all those stuff for theme. Basically give you a good theme based on the color that you actually picked. So that's basically what this is doing, and actually good. Let's try yellow. Okay, interesting, that's cool. What about pink? Oh, cool. That's nice. Yeah, I can actually see this test field. The whole stuff is actually the color theme for it is actually cool and good. Yeah, I think this is good. I think this one way. I think the benefit of this, the good benefit of this, that this is actually the best way to generate color themes for your app. If you guys have been following me along, if you have been following my streams previously, the only one of the ways I usually get color schemes or color themes for my app is basically I goes ahead to create a new theme data, like maybe a different themes. Like I have a combination of colors, and I use that to rebuild my own theme data instead of using the Flutter theme data. But with this kind of approach, you just feed it a color, and it just generates the different color variant tools and different for different widget within the app, and I think that is actually great. So yeah, it's basically a nice way to actually go with this. So we tested this out, and this is actually a good feature. I like this. So let's see if Flutter can generate one for you. Yeah, so you can provide your own. Let's see. Okay, let's start from here. To use this new feature, just turn on the Material 3 flag in your application team data widget, and next it says to take full advantage of M3 support, you will want to complete M3 color scheme, and you can provide your own color scheme. Use the new team builder too. Okay, that's a team builder. I think I've seen this before. So let's take a look. Okay, so this is a tool to actually help you to build to generate themes for your app. So you can actually add a color in here, and then you can tweak to see how it's going to look. The themes is going to generate for you. You can actually use in your app. This is actually great. I'll keep this by the side. Maybe you can actually try with the app we are building to see if you're going to generate different themes and what's that's going to look like. Okay, let's move forward. It says next one, or Flutter can generate one for you from a single seed color using color scheme seed parameter of the team data constructor, which is actually good. Like I said, this is a good addition. I like this. It actually see that it helped us to actually generate different team data based on the color we are feeding to it, which is actually good. I've been playing around with it so far. So yeah, like I said, just type in a color here, it just generates us the color for us. And let's try dark theme, maybe a dark color. That should be black. Let's see what theme is going to generate. Okay, nothing, it didn't do any stuff. So let's try orange. Yeah, you can actually see that it actually generated a theme based on the orange color we feed to it. So basically what is we actually do for most people and help is that, let's say you have a color, the dominant color of your app or the brand color, your main brand color for your app. What you're going to do is that get the hex value of that your brand color, and then add it in here. So this is how to actually do that. So you get a hex value, you type in 0x, and then full opacity, which is FF, and then you can just type in any hex color code in here, and it just generate the color for you. Let's give this a try. I will just go in here, next tab, let's try maybe Instagram color and see what it's going to look like. Okay, Instagram. Okay, now most of them is background, so let's look for or we could just pick any color hex from the internet. So I'll just go to color hunt. So let's pick any color that we want. So let's say our brand color is this is our brand color, this one right there. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to use that in here, paste. Make that to be a constant, just paste that in there, save, and you can see that this will generate a color based on what we feed to it. So you can actually see the color generated for us based on our brand color. So that's actually a good stuff, and it will actually help you to speed up your teaming, so you don't need to struggle with teaming your app anymore. You just basically feed it the main brand color that you have, your predominant color on your products, and it just give your app a nice theme to suit that particular color or the particular brand theme that you have here. So let's go to the next section. So this say for the latest details of Flutter Material 3 support, see the umbrella issues on it. Okay, no. Okay, there's actually another interactive demo to actually play around with the Material 3 support, which you can actually find here. So this is an interactive demo. You can just play around with this stuff. So these are all Material 3 widgets so far. So these are currently supported widgets in Material 3. You can actually utilize in your app and build with. I think I prefer the previous version of the floating action button, which is round, instead of the square kind of like shape or box shape they gave to it. I think the round one is much better than the box shape, but I think you can actually change the shape. That should be a way to change the shape too. Yeah, most of the Flutter widget has a shape property. You can actually customize the shapes and all those stuff. Yeah. Let's see what else they added that's actually good. Yeah, I like this bottom sheets. Yeah, the bottom sheet, the animation and the opacity, broadening of the other widget underneath it. You can actually see that's cool. Let's see, and also the navigation bar. They also gave you guys a navigation bar. Nice one. And also you can actually, if you take a look at the navigation drawer, that's another great improvement in Material 3, which is actually good. The navigation drawer, you can actually see the rounded shape, the new rounded shape. Before, it actually kind of like a square kind of shape they gave to it previously, but right now it has this rounded shape, which I prefer, and I like this compared to the Material 2 but let's see. So far the changes are good, and I like how vibrant everything looks, and also the theme they use here is actually great. Except the only stuff I don't like so far is the shape of the floating action button. I think that's the only thing I don't like so far. Yeah, but the rest of the stuff is actually great. They are all good. So let's go back. So right in here, also for those of us who are building desktop app, they also added a support for desktop app, some improvement on Mac OS desktop. Looks like they focused more on Mac OS. Let's see. Flutter can now create menu bars and cascading context menus. For Mac OS, create menu bar using platform menu bar widget, which defines platform native menu bars rendered by Mac OS instead of Flutter. Okay. And for all platforms, you can define material design menu that provide cascading menu bars. Okay, I see. So for iOS, you just use this to define your menu bars. Then for others, which is Windows, Linux, Windows, Linux, and is there any other operating system? I think it's just really Windows and Linux and web. Yeah, I think no, we don't need menu bars on web. Yeah, we don't need menu bars on web. It's just Windows and Linux that will need menu bars, and you can actually use material design menu, which is basically the menu bar from material design, to create yours. And this is what it looks like, which is cool. Normally we don't have this in Mac OS, or basically in all desktop the previous desktop releases. We don't have menu bars, and also the impeller preview, the team, you can actually go ahead and read more of this. I'll also add this into the stream description later on for you guys to read this through this. I don't want to go through it for quite a long one. Or you can actually let's try going through this. So the team is pleased to announce that the new Impera rendering engine is ready for preview on iOS on a stable channel. We believe the performance of Impera will meet or exceed the Skia renderer for most apps, and as for fidelity, Impera implements all but a small number of rarely used corner cases. We expect to make Impera the default renderer on iOS in a forthcoming stable release. So please continue to file Impera feedback on GitHub. So it looks like they are replacing Skia. So Flutter is replacing Skia with Impera. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this the correct way. So they are replacing Skia with Impera for rendering for Flutter widget rendering or rendering Flutter application on iOS device. So that's basically what it's all about. And Yeah, I think let's see what how that looks and how that works, since they are actually making a boot claim that's going to be much better than what Skia provides previously. Okay, let's continue. While we are increasingly confident that Impera on iOS will meet the rendering needs of nearly all existing Flutter apps, there are still few gaps in API coverage. The small number of remaining gaps are limited on the Flutter wiki, so you can actually check the Flutter wiki, guys, to know more. Users might also notice minor visual differences in rendering between Skia and Impera. These minor differences might be bugs, so please don't hesitate to flag an issue. Okay, that's cool. Our progress on Impera was greatly accelerated by contributions from the community. Okay, we continue to make progress on the vocal backend for Impera with fallback to OpenGL on older devices, but Impera on Android isn't yet ready for preview. Android support is under active development, and we hope to share more about it with more news about support for desktop and web in future releases. So it looks like they are going to replace Skia entirely, slowly using Impera instead of Skia Ranger. Okay. Okay, so we have iOS release validation. So when you release an iOS app, a checklist of settings to update ensures that your app is ready for submission to the App Store. The Flutter build, yeah, normally we just there's a main command we use to build our IPA build for iOS store release. So basically, when you want to release an app, or when you want to upload your app to App Store, you just upload the IPA file and not your folder for Flutter. So basically, run this code and it just generates the IPA file for you. Now validate some of these settings. Okay, says the Flutter build IPA command now validates some of these settings and informs you if there are changes that should be made to your app before release. Okay, that's cool. Building with some no safety. Okay, so when you not run that command, so this is what we will actually be seeing. So it says app settings validation, version number, okay, build number, okay, display name, deployment target, bundle identifier, okay, your application still contains default. Okay, I think this is actually good. I like this matrix. You can actually take a look and see what's going on, what's failing, so that when so not when you upload your app after spending time to generate it and going through the stress with Xcode for validation and all this stuff, and once you upload it to App Store, kind of like it will be rejected based on some issues or some stuff like that. But before you can actually do that, just running this Flutter build IPA command will just tell you what is wrong, what you need to change in your app before you can actually build the IPA file for you. So you have the app icon and launch image asset validation. Okay, app icon is using the incorrect size. I like this. Launch image is set to default placeholder icon. Replace the unique launch image. Okay, I like this matrix. This is actually good. This is actually good for the Flutter community. You can actually see what's being requested or what you need to change before you can actually upload your app to App Store for now. So this is basically for App Store. I haven't seen Android so far. So yeah, that's no release validation for Android. Okay, and also there's also some changes on the DevTools, Flutter DevTools. For those of you that doesn't know where to actually see your Flutter DevTools, once you start running your Flutter code, I don't know what is saying. I have an issue. You could actually take a look. Yeah, you can actually use the widget inspector and Flutter DevTools on your app. Should normally actually prints this location. Let's see. Yeah, so like I said, there are some improvement to the DevTools updates on Flutter also, and let's scroll down. And here is the main path. I think this is my favorite features so far in the 3.7 release of Flutter. The context menus, the ability to actually customize the context menus and other stuff. I can actually see what this looks like. Yeah, when you hover over this, you have the both the text magnifier and these context menus. You can actually customize them. Let's try this here. So let's say okay, yeah, you can actually see the context menu showing up. So kind of like gives us the ability for us to actually customize it, and also the text magnifier can actually see how that looks like. And right now this is actually custom text magnifier because it's in a shape of star instead of normal oval shape. Is in the shape of star. So I'll show you see how that works. And this is the code behind that. So for customizing those stuff, especially the text magnifier, this is the code for customizing the context menu and text magnifier. This one right here, custom magnifier, and right over here. So you can actually see the position and yeah, magnifier size and some customization to it. If I go ahead and remove the custom text magnifier from our text field, so you can actually go ahead and remove it. So let's remove this. It will default back to the Sequoia one. So let's try this again. So restart. Okay. We're gonna have some issues. So let's stop this. I'll stop it and run the app again. So let's run the app again and see what that looks like. Okay, see there are some issues right here we also need to fix. So I'm gonna stop this from running, and I need to fix what I have. Okay, yeah, I probably need to comment this, turn this to a comment, so I will be mistaken which app I'm using. Yeah, so turn that into a comment. And now I need to comment this out. Just run this code again and see what. So we are just waiting for this to actually build. Okay, there we go. So let's try the text magnifier stuff again. There's some gibberish in here. Let's try. Okay, yeah, I can actually see that the text magnifier. See how that works? That's cool. See, just move around, show it. That's nice. So that's actually one cool feature they added in this 3.7. That's, I would say, that's my best feature so far throughout the release. And yeah, can read more about it. No, this for the context menu. For the text magnifier, right down below here is our text magnifier section. So over here says text magnifier, the magnifying glass that appears during text selection on Android and iOS now works on Flutter. Okay, now works in Flutter. This is enabled out of the box for all the apps with text selections, but if you want to disable or customize it, see the magnifier configuration property. So they also added a way, another option to disable it or customize it. But I don't see any reason why someone would actually disable this on an app. Most app that works with text will actually benefit from this feature. If you are building your app with Flutter, we definitely benefit with this. Your users are going to like it. Let's see what else we need to talk about. And also they added more update to background isolates. So basically, isolate is basically a thread. A way of spin off is a thread in Flutter. You can spin off mini thread. In this case, we call it isolate to run some separate task, or in some cases you want to run some background tasks or some stuff tasks that you don't want to run on the main thread, which is the main. So the main function is the main UI thread. So you don't want to run a heavy loaded task on the main UI thread. You want to spin up an isolate and then do your big task in there, and then you can move the code or the value up to the main thread to actually grab and use. So that's actually good stuff. You can look into isolate. I think one of these days we just do a video on this, on how to use background isolates in Flutter, how to do some task, spin up a different isolate, which is a different thread to do some work, and then we can actually move that work to our main thread. Basically, anybody that wants to use it in our main thread can grab it and use it. So that's actually cool. What else do we miss? Also, they added global selection. I don't know if this is working on web, but because previously there's no way to select text on web. I don't know what this is. Yeah, previously you can't select text on web, but looks like they fixed that. So it says selection area now supports keyboard selections. You can extend an existing selection with keyboard shortcuts using shift and right. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Looks like they added it, but I don't know if it's working on all platforms or just maybe desktop and not web. But I think it might be working on both web and desktop also. Yeah, that was actually a big improvement right there. And they also made changes to internationalization in Flutter. Basically, if you want your Flutter app to be multiple languages, so this is how you actually do that. And so let's see, internationalization support has been completely revamped. We have completely rewritten the Gen L10 to support descriptive syntax error, complex messages involving nested and multiple plurals. Select on okay, yeah. So these are the changes they added. Basically, the IntelliJ stuff can actually support multiple plurals and nested stuff like that. I haven't been using that heavily on my project, so I won't say more about this. I don't know more about those drawbacks they actually improved. So I haven't fixed these issues or stuff like that. But those who have fixed it will actually, maybe this is a big or huge improvement in terms of internationalization. And also the next one I think is actually good and great is the scroll improvement. They added something called animated grid. So this stuff we are seeing here. So it looks like the grid will be you can actually animate the grids display, and when the grids are going out of the viewport, you can actually have an animation to it. So I think that's basically what it's all about. And this works also on Mac OS. Okay. And scroll bars animation have also been improved too, so that's actually great. Nice one. For most so I think this is the last one, Cupertino list selection and Cupertino list style. So this is for iOS, predominantly for iOS. So whenever it comes to Cupertino, anything Cupertino is iOS. Yeah, so this iOS new feature, or basically I would say improvement or new feature. So Cupertino has 2 new widgets. Okay, it's actually a new feature, so they added a new widget, so Cupertino widget collection. Okay, that's cool. Previously we are using list view and list tile. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so these 2 new widgets are actually equivalent of list view and list style, because in iOS is different. They kind of render their list view and list style in a different way, so that's why they actually created this widget to actually support iOS native looks. For those of you who wants to kind of like create iOS native looks, and for those of us who are actually into building kind of like a custom looks across different platforms, I don't think we need to think about this. And what else do I miss? Is there any other stuff? And also, if you are using iOS native views, I don't know if you guys have been doing this, but I think I've tried it on one of my projects, not on the project on YouTube, but on one of my personal projects. So I can actually use so what I do, because I do also do code on Swift UI, and Swift UI is actually amazing amazing tools to actually create a user interface. I think if I'm to grade it between Swift UI, Flutter, and React Native, I would say Flutter first, then Swift UI second, then React Native third. In terms of how flexible it is to create UIs using those tools, yeah. So if you want to use native Flutter UI, not Flutter UI, but basically Swift UI views and components or widget, no, they don't call it component, they call it views, native Swift UI views in your Flutter app, there's actually a way to do that. You can actually do that also. So previously there's an issue which some people have been complaining about, but I haven't tried that, so I don't know about this. So it says we have added the ability for native iOS views to be blurred when rendered underneath a blurred Flutter widget. And UI kit views widget can now be wrapped inside a backdropper filter. So basically, you can blur a native Swift UI and UI kit views or components underneath a Flutter backdrop filter. So that's basically the improvement right here. It's actually good, and it comes in handy in terms of using native views or components. Is actually a good stuff to do. Sometimes you don't want to go ahead and do some custom components. You just want to pick one of the native views or native components from Swift, and just use it in your Flutter app on your iOS. Bear in mind, it will not work on Android, so you have to have a way to actually make kind of like conditions not to render it on Android, but only to work on iOS itself. I think we have covered most of the stuff right here so far. Looks like it's time to actually go in and start working on the app that we want to build today. And yeah, one last thing before we go, I just remember this right now. They also added there's more improvement to custom shaders. There have been custom shaders since Flutter 3.0, I think. Yeah, I think since Flutter 3.0 there has been a custom shader in Flutter, but they added more improvement to it. So you can actually take a look at custom shaders. So basically, custom shaders are ways of creating kind of like more advanced ways of creating effects and some stuff like that. I think there are some examples, some community examples right in here. So something like this, you can actually see this growing text effect. So this is actually being created using custom shaders in Flutter. Yeah, so you can actually go guys take a look at it. I haven't tried it anything custom shader yet, but it looks like it's something cool to try out. Maybe I'll add it to some new stuff I'm going to learn this year, but I don't know. And that's another one from Jide Guru. I actually liked his own stuff. So yeah, kind of like ways of dragging all these yeah, kind of a twin circle or some stuff like that that gums together. Yeah. So those are stuff the community have been doing with custom shaders from Flutter. Like I said, like they said, there's more improvement to it for those of you who wants to try it out. So you can check those out. And another stuff is, like I said, if you're upgrading from Flutter 3.0 or 3.2 to Flutter 3.7, you are going to notice that if you can't do this anymore. So let me show you something. So normally you can actually do something like this. So let me see. So let's say we want to change a background color. Okay, our bar. Let's say we want to change background color for our bar using our theme. So theme dot of context dot background. So this will not work anymore, so you can't use this. So this is one of the issues I fixed. I faced on my own when I upgraded from 3.02 to 3.7. I figured out that you can actually use theme dot of context dot background, and I thought it's been removed completely from Flutter, but that's not the case. They actually added it into another class, or I would say another object, another class wrapper, so kind of like wrap this around. Background color is now inside that. I will show you guys how to use that also. Yeah, so this is how to do that. So it's called color scheme. So inside color scheme, you can tap into background. So this is how it works this time around. So this actually gives you the background color that you are looking for instead of the other way of accessing background color. So you just do it this way. Yeah. So yeah, that's one stuff you guys should actually be aware of. Like me, most places in my app I use this a lot for dynamic theme changes and other stuff. So I use this a lot. So it kind of like messes up my code, and you kind of figure out how you use this maybe in thousands of places that you need to go ahead and change it. Yeah, but would have made sense. Let's say I move this out into a separate widget or function that basically returns background color from a theme of any context. In that way, we could just change that changes in one place. Then we don't need to go through the whole code base to actually make some minor changes that doesn't amount to much. So I think that brings us to the end of this, except if you guys are interested in hearing about the multi-window support that is not out yet, but they actually talked about it in the Flutter Forward event. So there's something called multi-window support. That's for Mac OS and Windows, and basically desktop app, where we can actually have multiple windows of your application showing up at the same time in your app. Let me see if I can actually show you guys something about that. Yeah, so here we go. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, so render multiple windows. So this is basically what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can have multiple windows of the same application showing up at the same time in Flutter. You can actually, I will also add a link to this stuff, to this video in the video description, so you guys can actually check it out. So I think this will actually be a great feature. If they release this is actually going to be great for desktop developers using Flutter. So this is actually good stuff. And I'm also looking forward to it, to trying it out once they release it. Looks like it's currently in preview mode right now. They haven't concluded in releasing it yet, but this is actually going to be a great one once they release this. So let's hope they release it soon, so we can just try it out. And yeah, and also they made some improvement to adaptive layouts. So for some of you who are interested in building responsive UIs, you can actually watch this video. We also talked about building adaptive UIs. Not responsive UI is different from adaptive UI. So basically, responsive UI is that your app actually respond to viewports. You don't need to create kind of like a separate views for different devices. That's basically what adaptive UI goes with. So basically, kind of like when you're on mobile, it kind of like shows a different UI or a different widgets on mobile, but then when you are in desktop, so kind of like shows a different UI or something like that. It's called adaptive or responsive. That kind of like your single widget is responsive across different devices, something like that. Yeah. But you can actually take look at the adaptive UI stuff, which is you can use media query, animated builder, layout builder, and overflow menu, which is actually a great stuff. The overflow menu stuff in Flutter. Actually, see if I can show you guys what that is. Overflow menu. So that is one of their widget, another new widget addition to adaptive UI in Flutter. Not pop-up menu, it's called overflow menu. Oh my goodness, so how do we actually figure this out? Let's try searching for it. So we can just search for overflow menu. Okay, looks like there's nothing like that so far. Not overflow box, but overflow menu. Maybe it looks like I got the spelling wrong, so yeah, I think that might be the case. But you can actually know more about that through here. Everything about adaptive UI and responsive UI too. So try to watch this video and this to recommend this. And no, this is just for fun at the moment. It's not yet out, or unless you just want to get excited by the announcement. But I recommend this one for those of you who are building for both Android, iOS, and desktop and web at the same time using Flutter. I recommend you watch the adaptive UI video too. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start working on the stuff that we want to do today. So I want to create this UI using Material 3 widgets instead of Material 2. So we're going to spend our time using Material 3 to create something like this. So it's going to be an email app, and it's going to be both desktop and also mobile. And the design is not mine. The design is from Kausa Ahmed. So thanks to Kausa Ahmed for allowing us to use this design. He didn't allow us specifically. I'm just saying that I'm putting the design on Dribble for us to actually use as an inspiration to create something. So yeah, I don't have right to the design, so if you are looking to do any other stuff with the design, you have to ask him for the right to it. But for now, we can just use it for inspiration to create stuff, as long as we're not selling it or we're not using it for any commercial stuff. So this is what we are trying to implement with Material 3, and the mobile app should look like this. So let me actually show you guys what the mobile app should look like. So the mobile app itself should look like this. Yeah, I shall see how it's been structured on the mobile device compared to how it's looking on the desktop device. But we are going to start with desktop device, or we could actually do mobile responsive first, then move into desktop. I don't know what you guys think. Let me think. We could just go with any of them is actually good. I don't think one is bigger than the other. I think anyone we just choose is actually good. Okay, so let's try this. For me, the way I do my design, I go with mobile responsive first, then all the way to desktop responsive design. So looks like I'm gonna do it the same way. So mobile responsive, then move before moving into desktop responsive or web responsive or any other platform responsive. Let's try to see how we can actually put this somewhere. Minimize this a bit. And now within our Flutter app projects folder, so let's go ahead and start working on this stuff. Inside the lead folder, what I normally do is I just create a new folder in there. Maybe I'll call this home page. Just call it home, or I just give it a general name by saying this will be called presentation. Then inside presentation we could just do other stuff. So let's take a look at how we actually implemented fake donor app, the fake donor app we worked on, how we implemented the folder structure. So it's been called, I call it screens. Within inside the screens we can actually have multiple folders inside it, so it's called screens. So I will just keep it that same way, or in some cases I call this presentation or screens, still the same meaning, trying to both have conveying the same meaning, presentation, screens, other stuff. So I will call this screens. Within inside our screens, I'm gonna have another folder called home, and maybe next one called settings, which I'm not sure we're going to implement. Call this settings screen. They rename this to home screen. I think mash up with previous ones. So we have home screen, settings screen, and within the home screen I'm going to create email compose. Call this email compose dot and stf for our stateful widget. We name this email compose. That's the name we give to it. So basically delete the top stuff we have right there, and then import material, not Cupertino. Where is the material app in this case? Okay, we got this working. For now we have this placeholder widget, and now we need to be able to use this in our main.app to replace this one we have here. How do we do that? So basically over here I'm going to comment this out and use home becomes our new widget that we created, and we need to import it also, and then have constant at the back. And that's another way to actually make your imports better for one single folder. So in here we could actually decide to, in here we could have another file called index that. I don't know if that's the best name to name it, and then we could just have exports. So over here I could actually say export slash home screen, Now, so in this case, so if I go back, I'll remove this import that we did here. I will say export, so it should be from screen/index, so everything will be in here. So if you save that, you can actually see what our screen looks like at the moment with the placeholder widget we added. So that's because of the placeholder widget. Well, we are trying to get to something that looks like this at the moment. So let's put this over here and then open up our VS Code, minimize this a bit. So we have these three ways. Remove this. Okay, so let's go back to email compose. So if you take a look at the email compose, you can actually see that this is actually in a column. Is using a column widget to lay out each of every other children within it. So everything's kind of like in a column. So you have this first column, second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is the last one. If you take a look, this one has a different color from what previous ones have. And if I'm to implement this, I'm going to use my layout implementation strategy. So using my layouts, what did I do? Layout implementation strategy. So I'm going to first of all create the layout first before trying to add any other stuff at the top. So first I'm going to create, this should be a scaffold. And a scaffold, okay, need us to make this a constant. And a scaffold should have a body. Within the body, we currently want a stack widget. So I'm going to use a stack widget down below here. It's going to have a children property. Looks like we still have to make this to be constant. Also, wait a second. Let me see. Okay, so we have to remove the constant from the parent and make this a constant. So in here, I'm going to have two containers and another container. This should have decoration. We're gonna use box decoration for this. This should have a background color. So the first one is gonna have a background color of what again? So what's the color that we have here? Let me actually see if I actually grab the color. Okay, so I grabbed the color, so I just use my color picker, which you can actually use one from here. Install color picker on the browser. They can just pick any color from the design that you want. So that's what I just did right now. So I grabbed this color right here, and I'm going to use that in here. So I'm going to say color, and here's how I create my color. I paste this, and then have a comma. And looks like we need to make this to be a constant. You see? Okay, that's a problem. So we don't need to make this a constant because the container isn't a constant. So this should be a constant. If I go ahead and save this, so let's bring this up. Yeah, sure, that's cool. We actually got the background color that we are looking for. So this is the background color that we want. If this is gonna be our main color, if that color is gonna be our main color, it will make sense to use that to generate our theme color. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this same color. If I want to make this code base to be green, I'm gonna create a new folder in here. call this core folder. Inside my core folder, I'm gonna create another one called this colors. Inside the core folder, we have colors. In there, we can actually have colors, branding, some other stuff. In this case, I don't need the colors to be inside a folder. I just create a file in there and call this brand colors. That you guys can actually ask me questions or on the chat. Just drop your some questions on the chat. I'll just get to reply you guys. So we have brand colors of that in here. So in here I'm gonna say create a class, and we're gonna name this class to be brand colors. I don't know why I like using that name for naming colors and other stuff. I'm gonna say brand colors so we don't need to instantiate it. So in here I'm gonna say static work again. What do I want to say? So what's the name again? So k main app color is equals to the color we copied in there. No. Okay, we need to import this first. That should be from material UI. Yeah, every problem is solved. So now we can just make use of this color everywhere we need it. No need of duplicating the color code throughout the app. So if you just paste this in here, and it will require us to import its parents. Okay, now first of all we bring in the class called brand colors.main color. Okay, there you go. Now I could copy this and use this to actually generate a theme. Let's see if that's going to work. So in here, previously we are generating this, what we are using to generate our theme color scheme seed, and I'm going to replace this with our color that I choose right now. So I'm going to say color seed, no, not color scheme. That should be color scheme seed. Yeah, paste this, import, save. Okay, but I'm not too sure what kind of color is generated for us. But we can actually test that as we're using floating action button in our app to see what that looks like. So I will actually say over here within our scaffold should have floating action button. I don't need to write that the full code. I'll just go over here and copy our floating action button code. Still paste it in here. We don't need the unpressed function. Okay, it's been required. Since this is required, I'm gonna pass in a dummy function in there. Okay, so the color tone is generated. So our buttons, we're gonna have this, is going to have this kind of colors. Interesting, but we are going to use custom colors because most of our buttons will not be this color because there's the color this has. Since we are using, I'm using material 3, I want to build the app using material 3, so means we are going to actually abide by using these colors for our buttons, or we could just change it later on, add our own colors for buttons and all those stuff like that. But let's keep on going. So right in here, let's just trying to create the layout first. So I'll just uncomment this out, or yeah, I don't need it anymore for now. Just comment the floating action button out. That goes out. And next we need the second layout on top of this, and that will be the second container right over here. So I'm going to copy the code from the first container and paste it right in here. Go ahead and save, and just basically change the color. Looks like the color is a bit is it white, or should I say, I don't know the color, but kind of like a bit brighter than the previous one we are using, the main background color we are using here. I will grab the color. You guys don't need to worry. So I'll try to grab the color from my browser. I got it, and then we create the color right in here also. I will say static constant key main key layout 2 color or stuff like that. I was okay. Key main app bright color. I'll just name it like that. I think one of the hardest things to do in programming is naming variables. It's actually very hard to name variables, trying to give it a correct name that is actually shows what the variable is actually all about. So I have this 0x ff, then paste the color we just generated right now in there, cap it off, then save, and I'm gonna copy the name. We need it somewhere. Okay, we need to change this one with that. Now if you go ahead and save, you're gonna see there's a difference, but we need to limit this height of this one. To do that, we could say we need height, and that's how I want the height to be 300. Yeah, okay, that worked. So you can actually see there's two different colors right here. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. There's two different colors. You kind of have to look quite deep to actually notice it. So we have two different colors. One is on top of the main background color, and the other one is a bit brighter than the previous one. So I don't know if you guys have seen it, but yeah, there are two different colors there. And I want to remake this size to be somewhere around here. Yeah, somewhere around here. And because of that, remember what I talked about, say for adaptive layout, media queries, and responsive layouts, you just have to use the best to use this media query. So I'm going to say media query.of context dot. So what do we want to target? We just want to target the size and target the height of this particular Windows screen, or you could just say your mobile app screen. And I want to actually dynamically render a different height of this. Want this container height to be a bit proportional to, I don't know if that's the right word, but basically use the height of this screen, modify it a bit so that this container will be always closer to the end of any device that is being rendered on. So even if you render it on a smaller device, it will always be at this point of that particular device. So the way we do that is basically, I'm going to say this height multiplied by maybe something like 0.1. Let's see where that gets us. Okay, that kind of pushes this upward. We don't want that, so you can actually use division, but I just basically prefer using the multiplication one. So I'm going to say 0.1. I will say 1.1. Okay, that gave us a full screen. No, we don't need that, so I'm going to say 0.6. Okay, we are getting somewhere. So this stopped here, so but we want it to stop somewhere, because if you take a look on the design, it stopped somewhere around here, and we have these two buttons at the bottom, so somewhere around here. So let's increase this a bit. So I will say 0.8, maybe 0.9. Okay, that's too much. 0.85, 87. So yeah, finally we got to 0.88, so that gave us something at this point. I could actually move it up a bit, so that, because we don't want the user to tap on this dragging button here when they're trying to tap on any of these buttons within our app. It's against iOS design rules. Most of the times, if you submit your app with that, they're going to reject it. If the user is trying to tap a button over here and mistakenly taps on this place, and they're going to reject that app on the App Store. So it makes sense to actually move this up a bit to give it a bit of a space. Yeah, I just move it up a bit. Yeah, so I think that's much better. The user cannot mistakenly tap on this if they're trying to tap a button right here. So I think this is much better right now. Next stuff we could actually do, so we got the layout out, so the layout is complete except that this one needs to have a border at the bottom, so there should be a border here and there should be a border here. It's not hard to add, just still inside your box decoration, use border. We are going to use border side, yeah. So inside the border, so I'm gonna say top, then so we don't want the top to have, so I'm gonna say bottom. So we're not targeting bottom, so we have top, right. Okay, we have top, right, bottom, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's use border side. Oh no, I'm not using border. What I want to do is border reduce. Now remember, so I'm trying to use border reduce, not border. So border reduce dot only, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna say bottom left, give it 20. Should be radius secular, and that should be around 20. We have bottom right, and that should be radius secular, and that should be around 20. If you give this comma to just spread out, if you save this, then if you take a look, you actually notice that the bottom has a curve underneath it. There's actually a curve underneath the bottom. You can't see it clearly because of the two colors are matching up together. There's no two difference between the top color and the bottom color, but if you actually take a look on it very well, you can actually notice the difference a bit. So we got this two layouts complete. So next stuff we want to do is to start adding what needs to be added on the screen. So right, I will start from the bottom. So I need to add these two buttons right there. Since I said that we'll be building this using material 3 widgets, it makes sense to go to the material 3 interactive catalog to see which button we can actually utilize. So this is an interactive demo. I think I have it open here. So for this first button, put it side by side. So yeah, for this button right here, these two buttons, so let's look at button we can actually get here. The closest button we can actually have here should be icon button, but maybe you can actually change the shape. Yeah, we could change the shape of it. I could just change the shape. I don't think there's any other stuff. Shape. Okay, let's try it. So I'm gonna say inside this container, it's gonna have a child widget, and the child should be a row widget. The row should have a children property, and inside the children property, one of them should be icon button. Yeah, just use an icon button. But let's see if we can actually change the shape of our icon button. So you have splash layer, radius, is there any mention of shape, button style. Okay, maybe we can actually change the shape from button style. adding, okay, no, none of them. I can only see the button style. Maybe that will actually give us access to changing the shape. So over here, just use a dummy function also. We don't need a real function right here. We basically use a dummy function. Right over here, the icons that we want to use will be icons dots. No, actually, no. Okay, icon widget. And inside the icon widget should be icons dots ellipsis. Could just take a look at material icon and see which icon we can actually use. So this is actually a catalog of icons provided by material team. So it's called material UI icon or material icon. Okay, yeah. So I'm looking for ellipses, dots. So we are trying to get this. You see these 3 dots here. So we're going to get these 3 dots that is inside the icon, inside the button. So that's what I'm trying to try out here to see if we can actually get. Yeah, there we go. So it's called move vat. Okay, more vertical icon. So it's called more. So dots more vertical, more vertical rounded, outlined, okay, let's use this. I think that's it. Is it other stuff? So we need to add a constant at the back over there, and then we'll just try out the shape. Yeah, trying to see if we can actually shape this to look exactly like what we have here, because the current shape we have here is kind of like if you zoom in well, so this has it. Oh my god, okay, what do we do? Zoom out. Okay, zoom out a bit. Okay, this is no longer zooming out. Okay, yeah. So if you take a look at this, you can actually see that the icon is a bit kind of like box shape with a rounded corner. So that's what we are trying to get to. So let's see if we can actually achieve that shape using button style. And this should be a type button style. Let's see. Border side. Okay, yeah, I think I got this. But let's save this first and see what this looks like. You can actually see it's actually rounded. Let's add the outline to it. So we have outlined. Try to see where you can actually add this. This would have been, it's kind of like, it would have been more easier. Yeah, we got a message from Twitch. Hello, are you a Flutter developer? Yeah, I'm a Flutter developer. let's actually see. Okay, we have this, but we want to change this to outline type. If you can actually provide that way to actually change it, like I was trying to say, it would have been more easier if we do this by ourselves, kind of like we can actually use container and side container to actually look like that kind of button that we're trying to achieve, which will be more faster and easier to actually achieve than trying to use some material button. But since we want to work with material 3, we just want everything to look like material 3, so we just have to stick to it. So let's see what stuff we can actually change to have outline button. Okay, that's able to actually check this out. New tab, icon button outline for material 3, that should be inside. Okay, Flutter documentation should be in here. So let's see if this is gonna give okay. Say .2. No, not what we are looking for. Okay, looks like we are there. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, we're there. So this is actually outline button, icon button. So it should be somewhere. Button examples. So button tabs groups. So I have icon button field type. We are looking for outline. Okay, yeah, we got it. So this is basically what we are trying to get to. So icon button outline. Maybe we just replace what we have here and add below. So we added that below in here. What else do we need to change? Okay. Focus color should be color the surface variant with opacity, whatever. Highlighting color. I'm gonna comment these two out since there is no actually this side, border side. And this, let's remove this and also remove this. Okay, just guys, trying to see what we can actually do here. thing is that it's actually been a long time since I actually worked with material, any even material 2 components, like apart from using custom components, because that's basically what I usually use a lot. So we are looking for something called colors. That's on surface color. Okay, I found it. So it's of type color scheme. Okay, so just basically tell it to return, should be theme.of_contents of color scheme. Okay, color scheme on surface. There you go. Save that. There's no other changes to actually make. Once you save that, and there we have our rounded icon color, but still not up to what we are looking for. We want to actually change the border. Let's see what else they actually offer through here. What we can actually utilize. So we have elevation, side, which is just border side, outline border shape. Okay, I think we actually make use of outline border shape. Okay, let's try this. Okay, we can actually use rounded rectangle or oval border, circular border, not what we are looking for, but I think rounded rectangle should work. So if you save this, yeah, so there you go, you can actually see this taking shape. So you have this rounded rectangle on it, but we want it to have a border radius around it. So looks like we are going to target this border radius. So it has property called border radius, and we could just say border radius dot all. So border radius dot all, we could just pass in a radius dot circular to it. Radius dot circular, and this should be around, let's say around 5. We could just try that out and see what that looks like. Okay, is that close to what we are looking for, guys? Let's bring this up. So we have this, and currently we have this. So we need to round it a bit more, so just increase this to 10. Okay, yeah, it's taking shape, almost the same. Make it 12. I think 12 is okay. I think that's too much. Let's keep it at 11, or basically keep it at 10. Yeah, 10 is okay. So we have this rounded shape right there, and next we need to add a move ellipsis stuff to it. Yeah, so this is the icon we need to add in there, not the weather icon we currently have. There you go. and there we got it. So basically this and this are the same, there's no difference. So we got the icon we are looking for. The rest of the code we have here, we could just delete them or leave them for now, but I need this to be structured, so I'm going to add a comma on around it. And yeah, comma also, you just add comma here just to space out the code and know where each bracket stops and starts. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh no, close this. I'm gonna delete this. And there you go. This next one, the next button we want to create is actually this button. And how do we actually get to this button? Right here, this ESA button. Let's see what button material widget offers and see which one we can actually tweak a bit to get to that. So there are common buttons, elevated button, field button. So we are looking for field button, outline button, no, button with an icon on it. So let's look for field button. And the child should be a widget, any widget of type, but for now we're just gonna have a hard-coded text on it. It's not hard-coding a text because our widget should actually look like this. Yeah, so this is how the button should look like. So a text and a divider, and lastly we have what should I call this, a drop down icon. So I think they should be inside a row. One of them should be a test. And the test should basically say send. Just keep it at this, save, and see what this looks like. So this is what we got. But the shape is different, so we are looking for this shape right here. Let's see if it has a shape property we can actually tap into and just use to change the shape or any other stuff. It doesn't, so we have to tap into the style property. So the style property, I'm gonna use the same method that is being used here, basically starting from icon button property and then changing some few stuff, and then using a copy width object property to copy some make changes to some property and copy other properties to the new button we are creating. So I'm going to say field button dot style from style from, and we could just copy most of this, the shape, side border. For now, just copy this shape and leave the side border there. Save that. There you go. You can actually see the border applied to our button. That's cool. So see here this border at the top, and looks like, yeah, 10 is okay. We just leave it at 10, not too much. And then let's see if we can actually increase maybe height or any other properties we can actually touch on. So our background color, shadow color, elevation, text style, padding, maximum size, fixed size, okay, minimum size, fixed size, maximum size, and what else? Okay, maybe we can just try the, maybe increase the padding more. It looks like that's what it did here. Increase the padding more instead of the height. So if we are going that way, so I think that will be more easier. So I will say padding, edge, insect dot only. I'm gonna say the left should be 20.0. Should be constant. So bring this at the top, push this by the side, keep this right here closer so I can actually see what we're doing. Bring this up, then save. You can actually see the spacing is added here. Before we continue, we will need to add the icon here and also this divider. Vertical divider. Oh damn, that's too much. If this is the case, we can actually wrap this with a sized box. So you got a size box to it. So this does the height. So let's say we give it a height of 10. Yeah, that's cool. So that reduced the height. So we give it a height of 40. Okay, that's too much. Say 30. I think that's much better. And then after this, the next one should be an icon. I'm gonna say icons dot chevron. Okay, we could just use chevron rounded. And once we got that, next looks like we have to rotate this. There you go. Next, I'm gonna wrap this. To rotate it, I'm gonna wrap this with a transform widget. That's basically what we do. We use for and mostly for animation and rotating stuff, or transforming, what the name means, transforming stuff. So rotate. It's gonna say we have angle, and angle is expecting a double. Say divided by 2. The reason why this is requesting that we remove the constant, because this is calculated when while the app is running on runtime, and not before the app is actually compiled or stuff like that. So if you save this, okay, we just keep on turning. Maybe give it a 1 turn. Oh my goodness. Okay, what about 0.3? Okay, looks like we got in there. Oh no. 0.1. Oh no. 0.3. 4. Oh, 2. 1. 0. 1. Okay, looks like we got what we are looking for. So 0, 2, 8. I think there's other better ways to actually get this angle to turn. Give it a good angle to actually get this correct without going through this headache that I'm currently going through here. For now, I'm just doing this. Then what else do we need to do? So currently have this, and the send, then the divider, and then this. So what else is remaining? So we want to give it from the left, no, from the right. We want to give it like a pattern of, let's say around pattern of 20. So we're going to say right, give the pattern of 15.0. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap this. This transform widget with a padding, not padding.all but padding only. Should be from the left. Give it 10.0. Okay, that's cool. Also have we need the spacing between this and this. Then we also need a padding for the size box stuff, the divider that we created. I'm gonna say parade.only, also left 15.0. Save that. Okay, we are getting somewhere. Now we have this spacing, but this spacing looks like it should be much more bigger. So maybe pattern at the left, increase the pattern at the left also from here. So 26, maybe what about 30? I think we are getting there. And then reduce the horizontal divider a bit. You can just say 28, or you can just say 25. Then reduce the width to 1.4, or say 1, or basically you can actually say 0.5. And then we have to reduce the color, so I'm gonna say the color should be from our brand colors. Okay, we can actually use colors, the gray color, and then okay, I think we got this. Yeah. Actually, I also use Swift native. But in Swift, I use Swift UI for the layout, for the UI development on iOS, and also Swift language also. I'm not that good with UI kit, but I prefer kind of like the Swift UI more than the UI kit counterpart. Now I think the last stuff we need to do for the button is that we need to actually change the color. Color is the last stuff that's remaining. Before we do that, let's add padding top and padding bottom. Say top 10, bottom 10. If you save that, yeah. So I think we're good. The whole stuff is settled. So we have to bring these two down all the way to the bottom. That's where they belong. So if you take a look at the design, you can actually see they belong at the bottom. And after that, we just change the colors. And that means I have to move these two widgets. And then move them in here. Let's have the child, and the child becomes this. And if you go ahead and save this, we can actually see the widget at the moment. So if you save this, it will be off. We can't see it on the screen, so we need to actually do some work for us to be able to see it on the screen. So that kind of like means that we need to be able to push it down. So there you go. So we have to push this down. So how do we do that? There is an easy way to do it. We could just use alignment, wrap it with alignment or transform, or we could just wrap it inside a column and use a spacer to push it down. So those are other ways to actually do this, but let's try all these ways to see which one works better. Yeah, there you go. You can actually see that at the bottom. So now we need to add padding. That should be from the bottom, so we just say 40.0 and make this to be so that pushes it up, and these two inside the row should have a spacer to space them out. Yeah, there you go. You can actually see that that's actually been spaced out at the moment. So now we also need to add a padding by the two sides. Okay, that's too much. Let's get this. That's to 20. I'll say around 25, because we just want it to align with what we have here, the spacing we have here. Since we don't have a matrix to measure it, but just kind of like in our head and with what we are seeing with the visuals that we are seeing, we just map this out, that this actually this particular spacing or some stuff like that. Then from the right, I can actually say it should be the same 25.0. Save that, and then you have these two spacing by the two sides. Then I have to bring down these that I actually removed previously, and everything works fine. Nothing changed, except we need to change the button color. So that's what is still remaining. Just change the button color. Okay. For the button color, we could change this to black. Yeah, dark color. We could actually do that right in here, which could actually say background color, and then background color should be colors dot black. There you go. I can actually see these two mashing up together. So let's put it side by side. See that? And as you see, drop down button, and I can bring this. You can take a look. You can actually see everything is mashing together right now. Next off, so we actually created this bottom layout and UI, so that we are done with. Next is to actually create the center the main container layout, which includes this section. So we start from the top, so we have this ship-like button with a drop down icon on it, and then by the left we have still the same icons we have here, the same size, should be at the top for these two icons. So we're going to reuse this. That makes more sense. Just reuse this instead of recreating it from the beginning or copying it over again. Just reuse it as a stateless widget, and then replace it right there. And this, let's see if we can actually get a widget that looks like this from Material UI itself, because since we are trying to get everything to look like Material UI 3, I don't want to create anything from the bottom scratch, like a custom button or stuff like that. So let's see if we can get something like this and then tweak it a bit to look like what we want. If you want to go easy on it, if you don't want to struggle with tweaking Material UI 3 widget, you can just use a container. Just use a container widget, then style it, give it a rounded radius, put this picture on the top, the text, and this, you are done with. It shouldn't take you like 5 minutes or thereabout to get this to work with container. But let's see if we can actually get it to work with Material UI 3. So right in here, it's still a button, right? Yeah, it's still a button. The only difference is that, okay, I see what we can actually do. There shouldn't be too much thinking. We will just reuse this same button that the way we created the previous button, so we'll just do the same for that. So I will say at the top, right in here, should have a child property, which should be a Chrome widget. Should have a children within it. First one should be a field button. And the child should be a row widget. To children. First one should be a picture, so we need a picture for that. So how do we get a picture? I usually get my pictures from Bust, Shopify Bust website. I don't know if I got that current pronunciation, but it's called Bust. So try this, Bust.shopify. We could just get a face. Yeah, you just give us some pictures to actually download and use. Yeah, I think this makes more sense. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Download high resolution. You can actually, it's already downloaded, so I just move it into our Flutter app. Before you do that, you need to create an asset folder. We need a folder called asset. Make sure you got this correct spelling, AWSESTS. I think I got it wrong. Let me see, AWS E. Okay, yeah, I got it wrong. You should actually change it to a different color. Yeah, once you get it right, yeah. So this should be the icon color. So next off, inside it we are going to create a font folder. So I'm going to add another folder called fonts. Another one called images, just for our hard-coded images. So in here I'm going to bring up the image I just downloaded right now. Drag this, but before I drag that, just usually rename it to something much better. I could just call it face.jpg and drag this and drop it inside the images folder. I'll leave it in there. So we got these images right there, but that's not yet done. Next we have to move into pubspec.yaml right in there we have to tell our pub that we actually added an image for it to use. So uncomment this out, comment this section out. So I'm gonna say once you go straight into asset folder, right, then should be under assets slash images slash, what's the name of that image again? We call it face, face dot jpeg. Is it jpeg or jpg? Which one do we know? Okay, jpg. Still the same jpeg. Jpg face, and the asset is called assets. That's assets slash images, images. Okay, face. Okay, I think that's cool. And then go ahead and save this. Once you save that, now go back to what we are doing. Then we can start using the images we just added so far in our app. So I'm gonna go back to here, put this by the side and bring this up, not this one, minimize, bring this to the top, open. Okay, that's gonna like minimize it a bit. Okay, yeah, so everything will fit in, so you can actually see this, and see this. So I'm gonna add the images.assets. So what's the location? The location is basically the same stuff we added here. Copy that, you just paste it right in there, and then have a comma, then save. Oh damn it, that's too much. We need to resize it a bit. So let's start with the resizing. So I'm gonna say size, or is it height? Let's say it should be 30 by 30, and also the width, both of them should be 30 by 30. Yeah, there you go. You can actually see that at the top right there, and this should also have a padding also at the top. I would say padding, edge insects, dots, I would say dot symmetric. So we target a vertical first. Vertical should be around 20 pixels for the padding. So basically what the vertical means are a padding at the top here, and also a padding at the top, at the bottom here. It needs this to be a constant, and once you save that, you can actually see this being brought down, but we need it to kind of like a bit of a spacing like this. So we need this to be around 40 pixels. What about around 80 pixels? Okay, 70 pixels, 60 pixels. Yeah, we just leave it that way. So since we have this and we have this picture, so I still want to increase the picture. I would say that the picture size should be 40 by 4. No, let's keep it 50 by 50. But we want it to be rounded. So to round the picture, basically I usually use that. You can use Sakura avatar, or you can use Clip Rect. Let's try any of them. So let's try Clip Rect first, see which one works. Once you have the Clip Rect stuff, so have border reduce, say border reduce dots. Try this to be around 50. Maybe around 90. Okay, so I'll just capture this. I'm gonna remove the scaling entirely because I was trying to use scaling to see what this looks like. So go back to our width and stuff like that. Say 40 by 40. So that's one way to actually circle this, but looks like because the picture has a different width and size and height, so it's harder to actually circle it. But let's try using circular avatar and see what that looks like. If it's going to circle it. Perfect. So I'm gonna wrap this with a circular avatar. Once we have the circular avatar, I could just add the radius to it. Try and say 90. Okay, this one is way off point. That's too much. Let's try 40. Then around this. Okay. The issue is actually the picture that we choose. The picture has a different dimension, which is not suitable to be completely secured. I think that's the reason for that. So we'll just keep it this way for now. Yeah. So you can just find another picture to try, but just let's keep it this way. So we have this picture over here. Next stuff we want to add is the text and then the drop down icon that's over there. But this is stretching all the way to the screen, but we don't need that to happen. It's taking out the whole complete space and becoming much bigger. So what I will do in this case is actually get a this button to add, these two buttons to add by the side. or you could set a maximum width to it, so you can, no, a maximum width to it, so you can actually not bypass that particular width. So one way to actually convert a widget to a stateless widget is to put your cursor on it and then tap on this button. Then next you can just tap on extract widget and give it a name. I'll give it outline rounded BTN. Enter. It will just create a widget for that. Now I converted it to a stateless widget, which you can actually find here. So these are widgets. Everything still works, there's no issues. So we just copy this and put it somewhere here. No, should be inside row widgets. Okay. Add another one, should be 2. Oh no, I've made a mistake, so shouldn't be here. I'm gonna move it out. We are going to wrap this particular button to be inside a row widget. In that way we can actually have other items by the side beside it. So just wrap with a row. Yeah, this one. Now it becomes a row inside a row widget, one of row widget children. And now after the field button, then we can just copy this over to there. Now you can actually see this two working. So we have these two kind of like icons, buttons like this. What I need to do is to put a spacing between this and this. To add a spacing, we just need to in here. That's a widget called spacer, so use a spacer for that. There you go. So you can actually see both of them being spaced out. And this, we need to increase the size and those stuff. I think we need to actually change this picture. It is actually not looking good anymore. Okay, download this one. Okay, this is actually downloaded, so let's try and use that. I'll just try rename this to woman. Okay, it says there's something called woman. Rename to face 2, and then drag and drop inside our images folder. Also remember to add it inside your pulse spec YAML by copying this, pasting this underneath it, call this, should be phase 2. Then in here you could just change this to just 2, and then bring up our simulator. Okay, so this is what we got. Much better. Still not actually taking rounded shape. Okay, so we got this image right there. So the next stuff, we just add a text that needs to be beside the button and other stuff. It should be inside the button right in here. In this case, I'll just go ahead and copy most of the stuff we have here. So just copy all the way from here to here. This should say CLAURA design. Make this to be a constant. Let's paste what we just copied over. Save that. There you go. I should have this showing up. Add a style to this. Okay, inside the style, just add a padding, and this will be from edge insects dots only. Yeah, that pushes it to the end, but just add a little bit of padding, like 6 pixels. Yeah, so that smaller space we needed there. Also, I think we're good. Then image should have a padding around it. We're going to say only we are targeting the left hand side. We are making it to be 6. So we need the spacing by here. I'll just make it to be 9 or 10. Okay, and then the spacing here is okay. We just have to add the spacing at the end over here, a padding, and that could be done right in here. I would say right should be 10.0. Yeah, I think that's much better. I could just make it to be about 15. much better. So there you go. And then we have to change the background color to white, and then change the text color to something else like white. So I will just say comma text style. Okay, once we added that, so the next stuff we should add the background of the button, which is this. No, the background here should be white. There you go. And then we need to add elevation. And that's too much, so reduce it to 4, basically 3. So just add elevation to it. And then the icon we added, there you go. So the icon is black, so kind of like almost the same stuff we have here. So here's our button. We didn't use container for this, we just tied a material UI button to actually get to this stuff, so actually good. Looks like there's some stuff we are missing. Yep, I think that's this. So the next is basically change these icons that should be in there for those buttons right here. So these two buttons, we just change the icons and then add a padding, a spacing right here that should be around 20 pixels, the same one we got here. I think that's stuff we added. We added the spacing on the two sides. Now change the icons. So we're going to use the outline one, this. So it's called driver file name outline icon. Okay, drive file name outline icon. We added it at the wrong place, not the place we're supposed to add it. Should be somewhere right in here. So this should have an option to change its icon. So I'll say this should have icon data. This should be optional, and I'm going to call this icon. This should be equals to this. Now we are going to use okay, wait a second. Okay, the default shouldn't be this. The default should be this. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. Okay, there you go. Except that one of them should be horizontal stuff, so something like that. There you go. So we got that working. Need a split of a spacing between them. We can actually easily add that is a constant sized box width of 10.0 with a comma. Remove this, save. Then you have a spacing between them, or I think that's too much. You just reduce that to 6. Yes, they have a cool spacing between them. And then we have this stuff we added here. We could actually remove the elevation and add a shadow around it all, but we could actually try that tomorrow, or for now try to get this to actually look a little bit better. Is there any other stuff we need to do? At the top, I think is the image problem. So let's see if we can actually get the image to run a bit more than what we're actually getting so far. trying to see how we can actually run this, because how we are having a problem trying to run it. Okay, so we got it to run in a good second. So let's reduce this. Okay, I think this is much better, and we need to add a padding at the top. So we added left, right. Now I'm gonna add top. Say 4.0 from the top. Much better. And then the same stuff at the bottom. So not too much. 4.0. Okay, so we got this round there fully. Okay, the spacing is cool. It's also good. Okay, yeah. And then we have these two side by side. The spacing matching up with the spacing we have here. Spacing here matching up with the spacing we have at the bottom. This the elevation. Maybe we need to do a bit of tweaking to the elevation. Change it a bit. We're still gonna kind of like move around this code that we have here, change some stuff within it. So let's see. Okay. Looks like the shadow button is not actually doing any stuff on his buttons, because it's not actually showing up properly. Yeah, the shadow is not being applied. but we can actually still create a shadow using back drop shadow and other stuff in Flutter. So let's try one. Wrap with shadow. I think it's drop shadow. Let me check out the widget. We have to use a container for that. They actually say the container in this case, but we don't want to use a container in our own case. Yeah, I know with container you can actually use box shadow stuff on that. Or else we are going to wrap the button inside a container. That could work. Yeah, material 3. Even the shadow is not even working on material 3. I just noticed that. And they gave us a shadow color, but the shadow is not actually applying. See if there's a way we can actually change the shadow from the stuff we are given here. So we have foreground, background, disabled foreground, surface tint color, not that. Looks like we're going to try the container one. And there you go with this. So I'm going to wrap this with a container within it. So I'm going to drop shadow. We had an issue when I just copied this over to it, so this is why we are having the issue. So we have this. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, we need to tweak some stuff. So you actually want this to be from we're gonna use our app main color from that to the same background color app main color. We don't need gradient, so I will basically remove the gradient property. So we'll remove the gradient. So we need the shadow. So the shadow we are working with, I will just use our brand. The same brand main color dot opacity with opacity. Okay. Okay, we got it. So you can actually see that our shadow is being added to it. You can actually see that the way it's been lifted, so that's good. You could just have to remove the elevation. Now that's looking much better. Cool. I like that. So we could go with this. So I'll basically remove the elevation entirely, since we have gotten the drop down we are looking for. Also, let's see if this button still has the feedback. So the feedback is no longer working. We need to add a feedback, so when someone taps on it, it should have a ripple effect on it. So that will be added later on, but this one still got the feedback on, so still has the material 3 feedback. So basically what we have been doing so far, we have been using material 3 stuff to create the buttons. No longer we are not using custom buttons or any other stuff like that. As if you have to create your own custom button, you have to use jack shock detectors and a container and other stuff. I think we have done some stuff today. So what is remaining is to create this section and then have this input test input field, which we will continue tomorrow, guys. So guys, we'll be stopping here for today, and we will continue this section from tomorrow, and we'll be adding more stuff to the app, trying to make it much better, and tweaking some stuff. So far we're able to discuss so today what we did today, we're able to discuss more about the new features that's been added by the Flutter team. We talked about the adaptive layouts features, we talked about the material 3 and so other stuff we talked about. We decided to actually use material 3 features to build an app here, which we have been doing, but we haven't able to complete it today, but we are going to continue tomorrow. So so thank you guys for joining, and see you guys around tomorrow once we try to complete this. So tomorrow we basically focus on trying to add, what's it called again, trying to add the text magnifier, the mirror kind of the mirror stuff when you are scrolling through text. So we are going to add it tomorrow on this text field, so that we can be able to edit this text, and we are going to add these @ signs, so I can have @ sign on a text, and then the text will have a different highlight color. We are going to do all those tomorrow. I will show you guys how to do that. When you have a text, you're going to have a separate outline colors on it and some stuff like that. Once you select a text, we can actually change its color also, and then we are going to add our own custom context menu. So this is called a context menu. And what else? let's see if there's any other stuff we can actually do. Yeah, I think those are the most important features we want to implement coming from the new Flutter 3.7 release. So I think those are stuff that's still remaining that we are going to do. So yeah, let's do those stuff tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining. See you guys tomorrow. Don't miss it, and have a nice day, everyone.